Hello there, folks. This is Bob at Sorrento Hill. Hear that in the background? Isn't that beautiful? I love it. So I'm on my way out to the garden today. It's kind of a gloomy, overcast day. We just had, I don't know, maybe a quarter-inch rain, probably less. And I've got some starts that I'm putting out here, and I'll show you what I got so far. Blackberries. We're supposed to get rain this week, which is good because the blackberries are putting out lots of berries. You see, here's one that's up close to the house. Got lots of berries on them, and they're starting to fill out. We just need some good rain to help them plump up and fill out better. We've got 2 or 3 days this week we're supposed to get rain, which will be good. We've been in drought, and we need it. But you can see next year's stuff coming up good and tall, even taller than the stuff that's bearing this year, which is pretty amazing that these new ones are already a good foot to 2 foot taller than the ones from last year that are starting to bear. So out here in the garden, got my garden gate. I gotta do that to keep my dog out. The puppy, she likes to get up in the beds and dig, and I can't be with her all the time, so I had some fence posts and some fence, so I put that around them. And this is my partially full bed. I'll be filling this this week so I can plant more stuff in it. I got one rhubarb from last year that made it. Oh, how do you like my bandage? I was working out in the workshop, and I had a piece that had a nail sticking out from it, and I snagged my arm, and it was bleeding pretty good. And so I just took a piece of paper towel and stuck over that and used some blue painter's tape, and hey, at least I didn't bleed all over my work, right? I got this is a wild mullein plant, well, 2 of them. I decided to let those go and see how they did. And this one is growing up nicely. I think it'll be flowering for too long. Huge, huge leaves. So I just thought it was kind of neat. So I'm letting it grow. I got tomatoes here, and these things have doubled in size since I put them out about a week and a half ago. You see some white on them. I got some bug issues going on. I started on a couple of them, so I sprinkled some diatomaceous earth on them, hoping that'll get rid of some of the bugs. Got a blackberry growing up between the side of the raised bed and the dirt. Those things are vicious. But I've got Dr. Witchy's yellow, I've got Paul Robeson's, I got Mortgage Lifter, and I've got 4 striped Romas here. And I think that'll get us plenty of tomatoes. I got peas coming up here. In the front, I've got the regular peas, and in the back, I've got some snow peas. And over here, I've got bush green beans. I'm going to have to start thinning those out pretty soon. These are already doing better than my beans did last year. And here I've got bush green beans, and here are the Kentucky Wonder climbing beans. And yeah, last year, same soil. Last year, these were kind of yellowish, and they just wouldn't grow. And these things are just, they're growing like crazy. I planted these, I think they've been less than 2 weeks, about a week and a half I planted these, and they've just been going great. So what I did is I added compost from my compost pile, mixture of grass clippings and leaves and garden scraps and the like that I've been composting up there, and I added that to it, kind of tilled it in, and then I put some topsoil on just to kind of top the beds off some, and already this year they're looking better than they did last year. So I'm hoping that the problem last year was indeed the soil was just not quite ready. It had too much organic stuff in it that wasn't broken down yet. So that's looking better. And today I've got my pepper starts out. I was going to wait a little bit on these, but you know, sometime in that grow medium, they just it's, I don't know, they reach a point where they just quit growing anymore. So I'm going to be putting those out today. And I've got here, what have I got? I got jalapenos. I got 5 of those that have made it. I've got some ancho or poblano peppers, some, and then I've got emerald giant green peppers. So I love the ancho peppers and jalapenos for cooking, and also I use a lot of green peppers. So we'll see how these make it. Most of these have 2 or 3 per pot, so I'm going to have to decide which one I want to keep. I might bust them up and see if I can separate them out and plant 2 of them, because you can't have too many peppers. So here I go, getting my peppers in, and then I get these done. If the rain holds off, I may just bring out, I got some others. I've got another tray that's got some mortgage lifter tomatoes and eggplant, okra, some red peppers, some yellow pepper, and we'll get those out. I think they'll do better out here than they did indoors under the grow light. I made the mistake of, let's see, I think I put my jalapenos 2 rows wide across there, or 1 row across here. They say these little pots you can leave them in there and they'll decompose. But I had some stuff last year that I left in the little pots, and when I pulled them up, when they didn't do well, I pulled them up at the end of the year, the little supposedly biodegradable pot was still intact. So I'm not doing that this year. It's funny how all these peppers, different varieties of peppers, when they're young like this, they just all look the same. Boy, these were getting quite root bound too, even though the plant wasn't growing all that big. I think they'll like it better out here. The soil is fair. Even when I didn't have stuff in it, I made sure to keep the soil watered. Because one of the worst things you can do is let your garden soil dry out. So I've got some moisture down here, which is good. And I know maybe I should use garden tools, but I like getting my hands in the dirt. You know, that one's pretty good. I should see if it's not going to split. I'm going to have to decide which one of those are going to keep. I'll give them a couple days out here to see how they do before I decide what I'm going to do with them. Which one I'm going to keep and which one I'm going to get rid of. And I'm really hopeful, really wanting to get a good garden this year. I'm getting a lot earlier start on it than I did last year. I'm hoping that'll make a big difference in how it goes. And again, with amending the soil with some compost that's been aging for quite a while. I'm hoping that'll help me out a lot too. Can't help, can't hurt. Good compost is good for you. And I'm glad that there's plenty of moisture in the soil here. It's not all dry on me. We haven't been getting much rain, but I've got good roots growing on these. I'll see how they do if transplant shock, and then keep the best one of each pot. And I may be planting these a little close together. I don't know. And then I'll put the orange. But I can thin them out if I need to. And I think I don't know, maybe someone's who's got more experience than me, how you do with that seed starting media, or if you just prefer using just potting soil. It's like with the seed starting media, it's good for getting them started, but it doesn't seem like you can leave them in there very long, because it doesn't provide much nutrient, and so they don't really grow that well. So at least that's my experience. This poor little thing here, so small. You know, it's funny, there's one of the person I follow, she doesn't do it, she's on Facebook and she has a mailing list of Amber Bradshaw. I think it's My Homestead Life is what she calls it. But she had an email that she sent out, and she was talking about how, what am I? Because, they getting rid of a dairy cow and getting rid of I think not going to do hogs this year. And, does that mean I'm not a homesteader anymore because I don't have these things? What am I? What category do I fit in? And, there's a lot of talk out there on social media. Everybody's got to have this is what's true. This is what's real. Everybody wants to do the real thing and meet a certain label and all that. And I don't know. I've never been one to subscribe to that. We don't have a dairy cow, and we have no intention of ever having one because we don't drink that much milk. It's just the two of us. We don't drink that much milk, and we don't really have like cleared pasture area that would be good for cattle. And so, is that really something we need to do? Neither one of us like goat milk. We've tried it, don't like it. I mean, I could drink it if I had to. We like goat cheese, but do we like it well enough and have enough that we want the infrastructure and to deal with goats and milking goats and of course, to get milk from goats, why you have to breed goats, and then you got baby goats, and you got to figure out what you're going to do with them. And is that really something that we want to do? And the answer for us is no, it's not. So I don't need a beef cow for one thing. Like I said, I don't really have room for a cow. And I know a guy who raises cattle, and I could split one with him or buy one from him to split with somebody else. And he raises them, grass-fed and grain-finished with natural stuff. He doesn't use a bunch of hormones and antibiotics and stuff like that. And I've had beef from his cattle, and man, it's good stuff. Good stuff. So do I need to really go through that when there's a friend that I can get it from and get a good price on a fair price, support a local farmer, and get what I need. Because we don't eat that much beef. My wife has she has diverticulitis real bad and just doesn't do real well with beef, especially hamburger. These are not. I'm not going to plant these. And so, you know, for us, a cow doesn't work. I thought about a hog, but again, we don't really have the infrastructure. And the same guy that raises the cattle, he also does hogs. And I've had pork chops from his hogs, and man, it's good stuff. Good. He does a really nice job with feeding them and fattening them up, and they're just really good. So, do I need to do that? You know, we don't have chickens. We were planning to have chickens by now, but there's a lady from our church who has 70-something laying hens, and she's got another 20 or so that are on the verge of starting to lay. So she'll have over 90 hens providing eggs. She brings eggs to church every week for people, and right now in our kitchen we have probably got 5 dozen eggs right now. I mean, we're having to come up with things to make with eggs so we can use up the eggs that we've got. So I think a part of homesteading is being resourceful. And if you've got somebody that has all these chickens and wants to give you eggs, wouldn't you be crazy not to take advantage of that, you know, resource, and appreciate that resource? I mean, to her, it's a blessing. She loves her chickens. She loves being able to do this for people, and it blesses her, and it certainly blesses us. So why would I go through the expense of having the chickens if someone's providing eggs to us and they're getting a blessing from doing it? Now, hopefully this fall we'll be in a position we'd like to get some meat birds to be ready early fall to harvest. And that won't take a whole lot of infrastructure, because you've only got to keep them for a few weeks before they're ready to harvest. So that's something that we're planning on doing. But so does that mean we're not real homesteaders? Well, some people would say, yeah, you're not a real homesteader, because all you've got is a garden and cats and dogs, and you don't have any animals, so you're not sustainable, and you're not providing for yourself, and that's not real homesteading. But you know, one of the things that I've noticed, a lot of those people that are real quick to decide what is real and what isn't, a lot of those people are living in a house that somebody else built for them. A lot of those people are storing, and they've got a mortgage on it. And a lot of those people are storing their equipment that they're making payments on in a barn or a shed that they paid somebody to put up. So I would have to ask them then, just I guess at the sake of being contrary, which I can be sometimes, is that real homesteading? If everything you've got someone else did for you, and you had someone else do for you because you didn't do it yourself. So how's that self-sufficient? So I guess that begs that question. So I guess at the end of the day, it's Do you worry about what someone else thinks and fitting the label that someone else thinks is appropriate? Or do you say, you know, this is what we want, and this is what's appropriate for us, and this is what works for us, so that's what we're going to do? And be comfortable with that. And don't worry about what people think of it, because at the end of the day, you're not doing it for other people. You're doing it for you, right? And that should be, I think, the most important thing. You're doing it for you and what works for you. Well, I got this one little one here. I think it might make it. These, my little tray holder wasn't quite level, and so some of them on one end didn't get as much water as others, so they didn't grow quite as well. But I'll give that one a shot and see if it'll make it. It's a emerald giant green pepper. Same with this one. It got kind of dry, and I think it's got enough leaves it might make it. If it doesn't, it doesn't. I've still got about 6 others. Oops, forgot to do my hole first. All right, well, I got my peppers planted. I said I've got jalapenos, anchos, and emerald giants here, and continuing on that way in the bed and over next to my green beans, and back that way I've got some Tabascos and some red and some orange peppers that I'll be planting. And then down on the other side of my green beans, I've got some eggplant and some okra I'll be planting. And then I'll be filling up this bed over here behind me, or to my left. And I'll be putting probably some more green beans and peas, and definitely squash in that. And hoping that we have a good harvest this year. Looking forward to updating you on how our garden grows. I hope these peppers take off and make it. I'm getting ready to get my hose out, put it on mist, and just give these a good wet down, and tell them, grow. Well, I got this tray planted. It's humid out here, sweating too. And now I'll go in and get the other tray and get it planted. Thanks for stopping by and joining us and getting the garden going and listening to my little rant and rave. But you know, don't be afraid of trying to meet somebody else's label and am I doing it right? Am I doing this right? Do I really fit in? You know, what category do I fit in? Don't worry about stuff like that. Life's too short for that. You know, you just get out and do what you want to do and what works for you, and don't worry about what someone else thinks, and make things happen for yourself. All right, this is Bob at Serenity Hill. Thanks for stopping by. Get out there and do something. Have a good one. We'll see you on the next one. Bye now.